Hello, everybody, and welcome to Final Show Films. I'm John, your executive producer here, and thanks for tuning in to watch or listen to whatever it is you're about to watch or listen to. In these trying times, we really do appreciate everyone that feels that we are worth their time, and we hope that we're able to give you something entertaining to while away the time as you spend it. We particularly want to thank those of you that feel like we're worth financially contributing to, particularly our $25 and up supporters on Patreon, who are Antitonic, Drevian Alexander, Cat Waterflame, Rowan Parker, and Samantha Bates. Yes, I read that off of a list. Thank you very much for supporting us. I know that in these uncertain times, finances are tough for everybody, so that you're willing to donate to us means a lot to all of us here, and we thank you. That being said, please sit back, relax, and enjoy. Live. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Gran, Terra, Shadowfront. I'm John. I'm your game master for the evening, and joining me today is William.
Hi, I'm William, and I'm playing Valdez Stonebeard, the Dwarven Samurai.
I'm realizing that I should make like little frames for these on the overlay so that I can make the names and things even clearer to read. I'm also being joined by Mara.
Hi, I'm Mara, and I'm playing Titania Valkorian, a Ladrin Druid Princess.
It would also mean that I wouldn't have to change the color of the font. And Jack.
Hey everybody, I'm Jack. I'm playing Gent Minar, the half-elf spellslinger.
And Nikki.
Hi, I'm Nikki, and I'll be playing Scuzz, your rogue. Yeah.
Black Lives Matter.
Oh yeah, Black Lives Matter. Thank you. I literally was thinking about it, and then I
just brain turned off.
I don't know if you saw it in my face. I was just like, I don't remember what I was supposed to say here.
And Cody.
Cody, I'm playing Ithram Valar, the Hobgoblin War Wizard.
And Aaron. And Aaron.
Oh, yeah. I'm playing Carolina, human barbarian who is clearly fully awake.
Aaron also turned off right there. And Jeremy.
Hi, I'm Jerry, and I'm playing Ariel, ASMR gunslinger,
who is in the midst of rapidly picking a feat. When last we left off, the Steelhearts had finished extricating themselves from a previously sealed ruin of a ancient civilization that seems to have destroyed itself in reverence to some sort of fallen divinity, which certainly is not a sign of the times or anything. And the then continued on their way after coming out with much and many in the way of magical items. Eventually, the caravan got to the mountains that separate Dunisia from the what was formerly the uncharted frontier, now the corrupted frontier. And they have a few days to cross the mountains before entering that area. One of the things that they got from the magic item cache that they found was a bunch of tattoos. So, who all now has a tattoo that they didn't have before? I had to clarify that.
You preempted my joke.
Yes. So, starting with William, go ahead and describe Valdeth's new tattoos.
So Valdeth has the Blood Fury tattoo, which takes up most of the space that she's got, but it's very much the dwarven idea of the sort of very much like the sort of the dwarven blocky ideal of the Japanese idea of the Oni. So very much sort of the very large, leering, angry face, but where a lot of the flowing lines are in, and a lot of the sort of like elegant brushstrokes are in a Japanese art style, is very much the sort of very blocky, hard shapes, hard angles of much more dwarven styling that sort of has this transitioning of cracked stonework and like breaking out of a wall, sort of transitioning across her back and down the back of her arms. And then the other one,
So it's a Japanese only painting by way of Disney's Hercules art style.
Kind of, honestly.
Doing the
Um,
Kool-Aid Man.
Doing the Kool-Aid Man out of your back.
And the other one is the Eldritch Claw tattoo, which in this case is a jagged and like semi-broken great sword that is just across the inside of her forearm.
Right for him?
Yeah.
Right. Mara, what sort of tattoos does Titania have now?
Titania has the barrier tattoo and the coiling grasp tattoo, which have combined to look kind of like, those fancy opera gloves, like that, from her fingertips to her elbow, of sort of intertwining like fractal root patterns. You get that sort of like common theme in nature of things branching off and branching off and branching off.
Yeah.
So it goes up, and it's kind of this dull gold color mixed in with dark purpley green, purpley brown. That gets darker if she is ever blocking something with that specifically.
So it's like a half sleeve where it's like just
Yes.
from fingertips to elbow.
Yep.
All right. Jack, what about Gent's new tattoos?
Gent has a barrier tattoo on his left shoulder. Spreads a little ways up his neck, down over the shoulder, down to about the elbow. And he basically, it's all metal plating and cabling, almost like he was trying to draw on a Warforged kind of exoskeleton. All gunmetal blue.
And Nikki?
So Scuzz got the barrier tattoo as well, and it's on his entire back, which, is only like that much because he's a goblin. But it looks like a variety of weapons all kind of held together by vine work. Kind of like vine work starting at the center of his bag and then expanding out. And there's like a hammer, there's a large great sword, there's a bow. And he's just like, whenever I think about protection, I just think about these weapons coming in front of me. So I think they were used by other people.
All right.
Before.
Like it.
Yeah.
Was there one more tattoo?
I think that's it. There were 3 barrier tattoos.
There were
and
3
other
barrier
ones.
tattoos. There was a coiling tattoo, a blood fury tattoo, and one other tattoo.
Yeah,
that's
the
right.
Eldritch
Valdez
Claw,
has it.
which I
That's
have.
right.
Yeah.
Valdez has the 2. Right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. And so these are all of our new tattoos. On the first day, after getting and attuning to all of these things, in the morning, as people are getting up and going about their things, Gent, you get up and get ready to prepare your spells. Now, as a spell slinger, you prepare your spells by engraving them onto bullets or onto the barrel of your gun. So you sort of you set out to prepare your daily spells, and you set in front of you the blackened piece of bone that is just the grip of the finger of the profaned.
Mm-hmm.
And you realize there's no ammunition, and there are no barrels.
Yep. So he thinks a minute.
Oh look, some follower bots that I can ban.
Hey.
Sweet!
All 3 of them at the same time said, "Want to become famous? Buy followers, primes, and views on bigfollows.com."
You just gave them advertising.
Yeah.
Anybody that's watching, if you're watching us, and you need to, and you want to or need to buy followers, yeah, like, why are you watching us?
So Gent goes into his bag and flips through his book of where he writes down his sigils and keeps records of what he needs in order for his spell preparation. Pulls that out, sets it down, opens it up. Goes in and grabs one of his 5 sandworm teeth. Kind of looks around a little bit. And then just finds a rag or something, lays that out, and puts his gun arm down on it. And starts engraving the sigils into the skin of his arm.
So we'll say to Tanya, you see Gent sort of just over here tooling with his forearm.
That's blood.
There's some, yeah.
What are you doing?
Well, I need to focus the energy somewhere. So, usually I use the bullets and sometimes the weapon, but this one provides its own ammunition, which is very nice from a economics perspective. So the cost gets paid somewhere else, let's say.
Okay, doesn't that hurt?
It's mildly excruciating, yes. And you can see the extended arm. The fingers are shaking just a little bit.
That can't. You still have your old gun. You could just use that.
Oh yes, this one's better.
It's hurting you.
Yes. Darling, there's certain costs that I'm willing to pay in order to maximize my ambitions.
Is that when you need to pay?
For the moment, yes, I think so.
Okay, because that doesn't look good. I lay my hand over your parts that you've already done, basically. It's
I don't think I'm going to be bleeding much more than... And he holds up the arm that's doing the engraving, and he's got mundane tattoos of just arcane sigils and shit up through there. I've had worse things.
okay, but you'll tell me if that starts to
If it gets out of hand.
yeah.
Pun. Yes. I'll let you both know. And he kind of works.
I'd like to insight check that.
Make an insight roll.
Okay.
$20.
Gent possesses a minor level of toxic masculinity, but you think he will actually tell you if things get to the point where, if it starts getting out of balance or anything starts to snowball beyond just this is apparently what I'm going to try first, and if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, I'll have to find something else. But yeah, he's telling the truth.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Okay, good. Because when you didn't tell me about what was going on before with your uncle and stuff, I was worried. So
this one's a choice that I'm making for me.
I know it was also your choice not to tell me.
Well, my uncle's situation was something of a choice that he made for me, and then what my family decided to believe afterwards. So
yeah, but then you have a choice too on your end.
Oh yes, I'm going to go back and I'm going to kill some members of my family until they recognize me.
Okay. Okay. I'll head off packing up my stuff.
Yep. Gent will take however long to engrave the rest of his spell prep onto the back of his arm.
Yep.
So much
After
Valdeth
you
would be saying, but she's not there.
after you get
Mhm.
done,
Eventually.
and you sort of
Yep.
infuse the sigils with your magic,
Mhm.
the wounds stop bleeding, and you just have this sort of scarified version of your spells represented on your arm.
He gets an unnecessarily gleeful grin after the blood flow stops.
It still hurts. Their hand's
Oh,
still
yeah.
shaking a little bit, but
Well,
make an intelligence saving throw.
okay. I'm pretty good at those. 26.
So as you're looking down, you're thinking about you recall studying under Alfinbar that he had a book that you had read once about varying different kinds of magical implementation. You don't know where it's at. It might still be back at your family's home, or he might have taken it with him.
With him into the hell dimension.
Wherever he went. But you recall there is a book about magic users of the Valkyrie Isles who would use ritualistic scarring and ritualistic tattoos as means of preparing spells. And you think you just oopsed into a variant of that.
I'll have to go looking for that book again.
Theirs is obviously much more cleaner and well-defined and
Right.
practiced than what you've scrawled on your arm with your offhand. But you sort of like in the back of your head, this is probably where that idea, this might be where that idea came from, of this knowledge that you had previously.
He's gonna drop a mental bookmark on that topic and see where that might be able to lead later.
So
Cool.
the group of you have a few days to cross the mountains before you get into Aaron.
No, sorry. Finish the.
Okay. You have a few days before you cross while you're crossing the mountains, where you're continuing on with the caravan, before you actually hit the foothills on the other side and are into the dangerous territory. So over the course of those 2 days, you'll still have opportunities to do things, but unlike the weeks that you spent in the desert, you're only going to really have the opportunity to focus on one big thing over the course of the next couple of days. So what do you all want to do? And Aaron was ready to go, so Aaron, you go first.
Well, see, mine may have just drastically changed.
I was gonna say, there's a moment that Valdeth needs to have with Gent when she notices that,
Yeah,
because there's no way
so-
she won't.
Okay.
Yeah.
That could be.
I guess the answer to my question will tell whether or not Valdeth or Carolina is going first on this. Does Gent wear sleeves / is he doing a particularly good job of hiding his
How
arm?
cold are these mountains?
Not cold at all.
Then yeah, no, he's pretty much sleeveless probably at this point.
Like
Yeah.
sleeves rolled all the way up.
So first
Yep,
time
mhm.
Carolina sees that, she definitely just breaks whatever she is holding. And there's like that half moment of magical rage flicker before I don't actually rage, because that would blow something up.
I support blowing things up.
You know what? Fine. Jeremy's
Yes!
tempting me.
Victory!
I'm going to make a wisdom save.
Hey,
And if I roll less than a 10, I probably do set off one of my rage.
There's a 2.
Excellent! I am so happy right
this
now.
is the best day. It's a magical day.
That's really fitting.
So Carolina suddenly erupts in purple light that crackles around her form like lightning.
I feel like it is that exact, like, cheap visual novel I Am Angry aura.
Yeah.
Of purple lightning.
Okay. Purple lightning I'm cool with. If there was a pink butterfly around her face, that would be more worrisome.
Yeah, red one, really.
Do we know what is there a visible effect or just the purple lightning?
That's the visible effect.
Oh, okay.
She's not turning into a Kuma Jack.
Valdeth
Jeez.
has run into this one before, but I don't think we expressed it to everyone.
I don't remember which one in specific this was. But
This is
Valdeth
the
is-
boosted AC one.
Right,
I
yeah,
also
this
get
is the-
resistance to force damage.
Oh, nice.
No,
That's not-
no.
that's
Or
not
I
common.
get
You don't
I
get
deal
resist-
extra force damage.
You don't
sorry.
get resistance to force damage. Whenever somebody hits you, they take force damage.
Ooh,
Yeah.
even better.
I need to be better at reading the single sentences that are these abilities with anything resembling reading comprehension skills.
It's fine. That's what I'm here for.
But eventually, Valdeth.
Well, I mean, if Gent sees that,
Oh yeah, you see that. I mean, all of you,
Yeah,
all of
it's
you see
obvious.
that, really.
Whoa.
It could be
All
hard
right
to
over there.
miss.
You can all also see Gent's arm because he's got
Yeah,
his
so
sleeves
is
rolled
that-
up.
right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Carolina is currently.
Are you going to explode?
Are you okay?
I just did.
Well, that was
About-
pretty good. There was no flumps.
It does fade because I don't attack
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
Yeah.
After 6 seconds.
Valdeth very much sort of walks over to Gent and is just, the fuck did you do to your arm?
He just kind of pulls the sandworm tooth out of his pocket and sort of waves it a little bit. Preparation.
Why?
Well, my normal substrates are missing from this weapon, so went
So-
with something that I had read about previously.
So you need to carve something into something to channel the magics that you need for your magic.
Either the weapon or the wielder.
And it's become quite clear that it doesn't have to be the battle or the bullets themselves.
Well,
Why not the fucking handle?
the handle's made of bone. It won't take it.
How the fuck do you know that? Did you try?
There's not enough space as well.
I've seen you write vet. You couldn't.
Is it demonic?
No, it's arcane.
Good, I don't
So,
give a
not
shit. anymore.
inherently.
I don't give a shit, and I keep going.
I feel like there are alternatives than
Magic is not
discarding
actually
yourself that you haven't
delineated like that.
tried.
It's just a convenient categorization system.
Well, there might be some alternatives that I have not yet tried, but you have to admit, this is very badass.
I have to
It is
admit
pretty
it's
badass.
fucking concerning.
I will agree it is badass.
Sorry. Not sorry.
Like,
And yeah, Gent literally just points at Ariel as she's walking away. See?
Scuzz also said it, but I like it.
are you going to have to do that every time you have to prepare different spells?
Unless we find a suitable alternative,
Then we need to find a suitable alternative.
which I'm willing to experiment on. I don't think armor's going to work because that was my first thought.
Try
But-
the fucking handle.
Is there a reason it wouldn't work? I'm not really clear.
John, can I use my extensive knowledge of obscure arcane systems via my my feat to what kind of secondary focus might allow for this kind of channeling?
Sure. Go ahead and give me an Arcana roll with advantage using your dubious knowledge.
Dubious knowledge. Dubious knowledge is great.
Yeah. And if I fail, I still get something because
You
I
failed.
grew up in a library about this.
Yep.
13.
So, arcane scarification is a thing you've read about. It's not commonly used, mostly because it's one of those much older traditions of magical use. It's a thing that predates a lot of spellbook usage and the like.
Mhm.
And it's in places where people don't necessarily have people don't have access to spell books either because they don't last in the environment, or it's just not a place where you can get the materials needed to make one. So that's sort of where that comes from. That evolved into tattooing in those locations. And so you could get the same effect with a tattoo, though the changing nature of it would require very specific kinds of tattoos that would be used to channel
So
the focus
henna?
and it would thing. No, not even henna. It's a specific arcane formulation that you would put on the forearm that would then be self-adjusting, but it would require more expensive materials than what Gent has access to at the moment. If the bone takes it, that might be a way to do it, but it's a magic item, and those are not easy to engrave, particularly if it's not in a place where the magic that he has created is designed to go. So it might...
Also, if you fuck it up, lacing a spell into a magical item and screwing it all up could be bad.
That too.
Putting magic on top of another magic item.
Other ways, really thinking about how Get casts his spells, potentially he could put together some sort of jewelry focus, something that like it would have to be again, because of the way he casts spells, it would have to be slightly more complex than just a ring or something, but there's some sort of jewelry alternative that could be created. You recall reading about there's a number of arcane spellcasters that have like those like they're like a system of rings that are all connected with chains and bracelets and things.
Yes.
Something like that might work. Would be diffuse enough that he would still have the place to engrave. Though there'd have to be a lot more material used than normal, simply so that he has the space. Yeah, those are the things that pop up immediately to your brain. There's probably more alternative ways that could be done, but you need to like actually go and research for that.
Right.
And I'm just kind like, if that's what needs to be done, it needs to be done. But I'm kind of concerned that you skipped right, like you found out, oh, there's not a barrel to use. You skipped right past, there is still parts of this gun, and straight to, I'll fucking carve myself like a goddamn turkey.
My love, I think you're forgetting that this is by no means the first time this has been done to me.
Yes, and it wasn't a good thing the first time.
But this time, it's my choice.
I think you might be jumping a few steps ahead, is my point here. There are other things that didn't involve probably excruciating pain.
Well, certainly, if we were back at the Steelheart's headquarters and I had access to the workshop and plenty of materials on which to experiment, but we're leaving for the mountains today, and I don't think the entire prince and his retinue want to sit around while I fuck together something that may or may not work. This was a decision of agency and efficiency. Was it the best alternative that I might be confronted with, or that I might arrive at in the future? Absolutely not. But it's what I have to work with right now.
You understand that I care about you, and I fucking hate seeing you hurt, right?
Lord
Which is
Valvin,
why you're bringing it up. Of course.
if I could make a suggestion. We recently distributed magical artifacts. Among them, there is another weapon that is a gun, which does utilize bolts. Perhaps a trade between our two gun wielders would be sufficient to solve the temporary issue until we can get back and Lord Minar can make himself some jewelry.
Valeth looks at Gent to see if he has any input on that.
Carolina is looking like you. If you say no, she's going to crush your skull in.
Gent's going to turn towards Carolina. That's a splendid suggestion. However, and he flips the grip of the finger of the profane. Based on this thing's name, Ariel's not going to use it, and I want to.
Cool, you can trade with me instead.
You have a gun?
Yeah, I will pull off the gunblade great axe.
I don't know how to use one of those.
You also
You just
have
hear from you just
your
hear from the
old
front of the
gun.
line. It's nice to be a trendsetter, isn't it?
I'll make to the rest of you the same promise that I made to Titania. If this turns out to be a step down a path that is escalating by any means, I'll make sure you're all immediately informed. Currently, it's about an hour of unpleasant experience in the morning, and then it immediately stops bleeding because it's bloody magic.
You realize that whether or not it injures you is not actually my concern, as much as it is bad that it injures you.
What is your concern then, specifically?
Thank you, John. Remove the Y from the words you just said.
All right. It's blood magic. I also use necromancy.
You said something about it being steps down a path? You're already stepping down that path.
And when I start doing things that are criminal, you can call me on that. Fully expecting that he will eventually do something criminal, and Carolina will call him on that.
Yeah.
But as you'll notice, these are tools, and I use them to protect my friends and the people that hire me. I understand that you have principles against certain aspects and pursuits, and that is fine for you. But until my actions directly harm you, as they have done in the past, and as I have been willing to admit, and seen the error of my actions in those circumstances, until my activities directly harm you or any of our friends, I'll thank you to allow me my own agency in pursuits, as I allow you.
There are more than one type of harm.
We should get going.
Thank you.
I assume that
Can
we are
we-
walking and talking.
Oh, I assume there was a stand up there, but
Your
I
armadillos have dropped.
legitimately assume that. Yeah.
Your armadillos have dropped back a bit because this isn't really a conversation. Oh, no, you're not on armadillos. You're just walking. You have dropped
Right.
back a bit because this isn't a conversation that you sort of can have while navigating a mountainside.
Right.
Mhm.
That's why Ariel's like a good, still within earshot, but a good ways ahead. And that's when you hear out of back, "Thank you. Yes. Can we please get a move on it?"
Which is punctuated
welcome.
by a vulture crying.
Can
Ooh.
I please request that next time at least try something with the gun rather than your skin first? If it doesn't work,
Wait.
fine. But if you just passed something up that might have worked,
I turn into a vulture.
There is
Sorry.
now a large vulture next to you, Valdeth.
I'm gonna take
John,
off.
can I do a retroactive, actually? Because this is not the first magical weapon that
Mhm.
Gent's had. He had his enchanted pistol before.
Sure.
Would it have been... Does he think it would have been possible to... Because he has mostly just been engraving his bullets, because that's easiest.
Yeah.
Would he have been able to try engraving the pistol directly, and what would the results of that have been?
Because of the way you utilize your magic, if
Mhm.
you know that you could have engraved the barrels,
Okay.
you probably wouldn't have been able to engrave the grip, and that's principally
Right.
because the magic has ritualistic interfaces, which is to say they work on things in certain ways. That's why you need bat guano to cast fireball and not bird shit or anything like that. Like,
Right.
magic has very specific A plus B equals C formulas that have to be
Right.
abided by.
There's sympathies in there.
And
yeah.
there are
Mhm.
certain ways to get around those, hence focuses, but otherwise they're sort of a very strict formula.
Mhm.
Because of the way you use your magic, the formula is particularly strict. So
Mhm.
you probably wouldn't have been able to put it into the grip of a regular pistol, or even,
Okay.
like even a regular pistol, much less a magic pistol.
Right. Yeah. Mhm.
Like you could right now attempt to put it into the grip of your normal pistol, and you're pretty certain it wouldn't work.
Right. Mm-hmm. Gent will reach out a hand and put it on Valdeth's shoulder. I'll try tomorrow. And he does seem to be absolutely sincere with that.
I give her a caw or something. I'm testing it out. I'm going up to where Ariel is.
There's a giant vulture coming at you, Ariel.
Ariel looks like she's
It's a
it looks
regular
like
size
she's
vulture,
doing
not
a
little-
mental. She has that look like she's doing a mental countdown before she turns around and stalks her way back to the group. So
You have a habit of jumping several steps ahead when you missed a certain turn off 2 steps ago.
oh, for God's sake!
If Ariel comes back to try and tell Valdeth to pick up, she's gonna get punched in the face.
Well, Ariel's coming back.
Ariel is coming back.
Like,
Listen.
as Valdeth is finished saying that, if Ariel steps up and goes, listen, she punches Ariel in the face.
She's saying it as she's coming up.
So not quite close enough.
So
Right. Listen,
I
shut
We
the
all
fuck
do
up, we're
thi-
moving on.
Now I've had to wait up there for quite a long time while you've hashed this out. I get to say my words. We all do things that are very dangerous to ourselves. Every single one of us. Titania runs into combat. Carolina does things that causes physical damage. We don't tell her not to do it. Everybody has something that they have to do. Do I like this? No. Do I accept that it may be unnecessary? Yes. Can we move on now?
It's
He's
really
already
about
said that he will try something new.
So you look ahead.
Slowly, let's go.
You look ahead and realize, yeah, you're definitely a bit of a ways behind the rest of the caravan, who left you to your own devices because when it's kind of that thing where like your friends have an argument and you just keep going until they're done.
Right, and it's like they'll
I
catch up
have
when
the
they catch up.
athletics and speed of a barbarian. I can catch up whenever I want.
Damn
They're
straight.
not like it's not like they're trying to lose you, and it's difficult terrain, so they're moving at half speed anyways. But they're entering into a rising, sort of a rising cliff face where you're going up and at an angle to get up into the mountains proper. So the group of you, unless anybody has any last minute things to add,
Nope.
Nope.
Flapping along.
head along with Titania as a vulture out ahead.
Yep.
Mal is actually close behind, just like formation, flying buddies.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. I will definitely race.
So
Okay.
the first day, now that you've gotten started on your day, what is everyone wanting to do while you're in the mountains?
Well, now Valdeth is very particularly fucking finding metal and doing what mining she can.
All right, so give me a
Gent wants to do that too.
both of you can give me investigation checks. Carolina,
Fucking
Oh,
investigation.
hunting.
hunting, give me a survival
I'm
check.
helping out the other people who are hunting for the.
Yes. So go ahead and give me a survival check.
That's the skill I was taking. Duh. Because I keep getting asked to do it. Right. I forgot to assign which skill I was putting in practiced expert. It's going into
There
investigation.
you go.
Carolina is as wise as a brick.
You you all at one point hear that
So that's actually going to be a 24.
bone greatsword smashing into something, and you sort of turn back, and Carolina has jammed it into what seems to be like some sort of den that's like along the path but in the rock, and is like trying to fish something out of it.
Oh no.
It's not catching on anything, unfortunately.
I'm
No,
not
they're
a
gone.
tracker. Show me a bear and I can take it down. I can't.
Okay, I'll point out if I see a bear.
Put the
Oh,
giant
darn,
bone
I
greatsword.
thought you were going to
Titania
say
points out a
Titania
bear.
turns into
No,
a bear.
no, I do not.
No, not. I'm not an idiot.
Right.
I'm actually very smart, just not very wise.
Oh, Gent knows that
Yeah.
feel too.
Gent and Valdeth, you do find you do find some exterior veins of ore in this mountainside. Looks like there are no mines as far as you can tell, so you're not going to be able to like get further in and get to like the more pure stuff. But you do find. Roll me a D100, please.
Both of us, or
one of you?
Valdeth.
11. I don't know if high or low is better in this case.
It's iron ore. Okay, low was bad.
You find a
Rust monster.
no. You find sort of it's sort of a slightly off gray ore that looks like it's not actually native to the rock around it.
Does my stone cunning let me identify what this is?
This is cobalt.
Ore. Ooh.
Do I know of any uses for cobalt in particular?
It's a pretty decent jewelry metal. It's not necessarily something that you, as far as I'm aware, it's not necessarily something that you want to like put into weaponry. It's not that sturdy. But it's something that you can actually use very well in mining. And in this particular case, it looks like this came down from something, like it was like a fragment of something, like a star falling.
Yep.
So it's cobalt, not siderite, as is
No.
often mentioned in several things of metal from meteors.
No, this is cobalt. Fun fact: cobalt is another one of those metals that is more commonly found in asteroid leavings than it is in natural veins.
Yep. Tends to be pretty hard. You can make dye out of it.
She will mine as much of that as she can manage.
Yeah, you get. We'll say you get about 100 gold worth of cobalt out of these couple of things. Both of you can.
Cool.
It's not a lot of cobalt, but
I will put some in my inventory. You said how much?
about 100 gold worth of just raw cobalt,
Oh, okay.
which could probably be used to make one ingot apiece. When you forge it, it turns slightly blue. Okay. Anybody else doing anything? Titania, you were looking for herbs?
Yes.
So
Yep,
give me an herbalism kit check with wisdom.
Okay. And I think I'm gonna go for the that restorative ointment that
You specifically looking for materials for that? Okay.
I think so, because I already have 50 gold worth of healing potions, and we haven't used many of them.
So for the restorative ointment, you're going to need. Let me take a look real quick at some information. It's uncommon. So you're gonna need about 100 gold worth of materials to make it.
Okay. Still herbalism with wisdom.
Yes.
Okay. Oh,
So 11.
Yeah. You know what? I have inspiration.
You want to use it and take that 22?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
You find about 50 gold worth of materials out here,
Okay.
and you're pretty certain you're not going to find much more than that. There's not a lot of useful... Like, there's plenty of plant life in the mountains, but specifically for things that will be useful for producing the thing you want to make, there's not going to be a lot of it. You could combine it with the stuff you have already to make it and forego making healing potions. If you
Okay.
have any left, but... and if you have
I
enough
do. I have
combining
50.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like
Okay.
combining this with what you already have would make 100 gold worth of materials. That would be enough to make one vial or one jar of it.
Okay.
But looking around, you're probably not going to find any more out here.
Okay. I'm gonna. Do I think? Because I'm not sure if Titania would know. Based on what we've seen of the way this stuff spreads when we were on the light wall before,
Mhm.
do I know if that would be useful in combating if it started to affect some of us or our weapons or something like that at all?
No idea.
No idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
It does.
Um,
In that it is a thing that heals injuries and poisons. It does do some amount of corrective aetheric rebalancing, just by its very nature. But you have no idea what it would do to whatever it is that's consolidating ether because you don't know what it is that's consolidating ether.
Okay. I'm gonna. I'll try combining those then and making one salve.
We'll do that on the second day. So,
Cool.
the rest of you are just sort of maintaining. As you're traveling through the mountains, you see off in the distance a very weird sight. There's a thunderstorm happening, and this is a particular kind of thunderstorm. It's the kind that happens, most notably is recorded around the Dragon Peaks because of their increased in elemental disturbance in the skies. You are seeing what looks like a combination lightning storm and blizzard happening at the same time. Like there's rain, there's snow, there's lightning, and then there are shards of ice flying down as well, happening a little bit further to the south along the mountain range. And it's heading towards the frontier. And you can see it, particularly Ariel, who has such good passive perception. You can see as it reaches the frontier, it begins to almost immediately die off, but only in the sections that are over the frontier. So as this storm that you can see way off in the distance is heading in one direction, it's just sort of like somebody who's taken a cleaver and just cut it as it disappears.
Huh. Quite a thing.
So that would be Ithram, Ariel, and Scuzz that see that, because the others were busy doing other things.
That is quite odd. Some sort of barrier, perhaps.
Makes most sense.
Does it look like the... Can we tell from here if it looks like it's like advancing at all or moving?
Like it's advancing towards the frontier, and as it's moving, it's just disappearing.
Okay, so it's not like gradually pressing into the frontier.
No.
Okay.
I will point that out to Valdeth.
And for those...
Sorry, to Valdeth, you said? Or to...
No, to Baldeth, yes.
Okay, I didn't hear whose name you would say.
No, it's...
For those in universe,
Yes,
this particular kind of storm is called a dragon storm.
All right.
That's probably not good.
I mean,
the
not
thing
good is probably the best description I can think of.
the thing that implies is that the essence eating aspect of the Shadowfront spreads very high into the sky.
Would explain why the light wall is so tall.
Probably. You're right. You don't go flying, noted.
Well, at least at the very least, you know you're not safe just flying.
In the back of your head, Esme goes, "We also sort of bleed ether when you fly, so that's probably not a good idea."
Exactly.
That's why it only lasts for a minute, because you're just basically flying on pure ether. So, at the end of the first day, you reach the peaks. It's much, much colder up here than it was down below. And so all of you that have been spending the past few days in extreme heat suddenly feel comfortable. Because it's just like, yeah, it's freezing and there's snow on the ground, but it's not boiling anymore.
Scuzz is
nice.
wrapped up like he looks like the kid from Christmas Story where he can't put his arms down, just in the snow.
And as the caravan pulls to a halt for a while, you notice that it isn't dark, even though it's definitely at the point of time where it should be dark. Which you can tell, the reason for that is being that you can see the light wall from here, as the end of the light wall is at the foot of the mountains, just a little bit to the north of where you're at. And so, off in the distance, over the mountains, now that you can see from the peaks, is this massive wall of light stretching on towards the horizon.
I think I can see our house from here.
You definitively cannot see Taram from here. There's a wall of light between you and Taram.
I'm about to say the wall of light. The light wall is like opaque, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't see through it.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
I just like to
Whoa.
pretend that the map we have, the light wall just covers everything.
Eventually, there'll
Because
be
to
more
this day, we still don't know any of the physical properties of the lands that we journey.
Eventually,
I'm working on it.
We'll have a geographical map, but at the moment, it's just white.
At the moment, you
There's
just get
snow up
shapes.
here? Right?
Look,
Yes,
cartography
there's snow up
in
here.
medieval
very much
settings,
back in
even
Toronto, so-
magitechnical ones, can be difficult.
For edification, the light wall is here. The mountain range goes down here, like so. Which means you are currently there.
Cool.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Fun
Good.
story. In one of my home games, we our DM did not have had a map, but didn't want to reveal everything to us, and didn't draw out all the extra. So every city we went to, the cartographer store was out of maps, or had just burned down, or
Was infested with something.
We got
was
to
a
find the
running
cartographer.
joke
Well,
that
we got to find the cartographer. Well, this one seems to have just recently been stepped on by a giant. So
Right. It was a
Mhm, yep.
constant running joke that every town we went to, we were like,
That's
first
awesome.
thing we do would be like, we go to the map store. They don't have a map store. This is the largest city in this country. Yeah, it just burned down yesterday.
So for those watching at home, I've switched over to the Roll20 map just so you can see. The yellow line is the light wall in southern Tehran. Also the southern border of the Tyrian Empire. The brown line is a mountain range that sort of cuts through the middle of this particular continent, and the blue line is the path that they have taken from the edge of
Eleonora, Luxuria.
Eleonora. Luxuria is the town. Eleonora is the country.
Right.
From the edge of Eleonora across Tunisia into the mountains, and once they cover the mountains, they'll be in what was the Uncharted Frontier.
Mm-hmm. Whoa. We're on the other side of it.
From up
Wait,
Your
here,
Grand-
granddad
Space
does
as
some.
well.
Your grandfather does some very good work, I must say, or commissions it, or whatever.
He's fueling
Great,
it.
great, great, great
Thank
grandfather. You know.
Yes.
I always have to reorient myself because when we were in Gran Terra Rebirth, what is currently east was north because the world wasn't completed.
No, it wasn't. The north south is still has always been correct. It's just that
Because I distinctly remember that the line from Core and the continent there was like down and to the right to get to Eleonora.
No, it was down to the left, but that's Core right there.
Okay.
Actually, my great, yes, I think that's right. Great grandfather is maybe somewhere out here. They got cut off when this came through.
You should look him up then.
Yeah, how long ago did this Shadowfront happen, or was close enough that it's like within memory of
about 10 years.
Okay, yeah.
About 10 years ago is when the light wall went up.
Anyway, there's snow up here. Scuzz, want to do a snow angel? You want to join?
Oh, he's like as if he's not already like,
You look over, it's already happening.
Well, he's like,
okay,
he's like,
a head
I would love
start.
to do a snow angel, but I can't move my arms. I make a snow tea.
There you go. Here, wait. If you just, I can rotate you, and then.
Wee.
There we go. You're good. Should we do watches?
Yeah, I definitely recommend watches. I don't know what's going to come out of that, says Prince Zane, pointing down the thing. Prince Zane, who has not put on a shirt. He's still standing there with just vest, bare chest, and pants.
I appreciate it.
I can...
How's Saif doing, being all, reptilian and shit?
Saif, you haven't seen Saif since camp was made. There is a conspicuously large bundle of carpets off to one side.
It's fine.
Fair enough.
Sleepy. Aww.
No,
I
Saif
feel
is
like Carolina
cold.
is still topless.
Well, if they're reptilian, I imagine they'd be super sleepy, which is like
Torpor.
I was so energetic earlier, and now I just want to.
Now I have to conserve all the energy.
Yes.
But yes, Saif.
I can do a watch.
You don't know where Saif is. There's a very large conspicuous bundle of carpets that is sized to cover a naga.
Love it.
I'll take a watch as well.
Well,
Obviously.
Zane sort of looks around. Here's what we'll do. If there's enough of us, we'll set watches by group. So the Steelhearts will take a watch, the Wild Pride will take a watch, my Honor Guard will take a watch, and the Kneecappers will take a watch. We've got 4 good watches, plenty of eyes in case something comes up.
And when he said what comes out of that, was he pointing at the Shadowfront or the storm?
The Shadowfront. It was pointing down the mountain towards which you all can see. Like it's at a bit of distance, and there's a bit of fog, but you can definitely see this eerily quiet, eerily vacant, dead jungle. There's just gray ground and blackened trees as far as the eye can see.
Somewhere in there is a hole to hell where you find the Dark Emperor and everything else that comes out of there, and
You go into the Negaverse and you find Negatoron.
Question.
where there's a giant armadillo hanging above Taram in Negatoron. Ithram.
When camp is set up, is it longer than 100 feet on any side? Like if you were putting it in a giant square or cube, would it fit in one where the sides were 100 feet?
Not fully, but mostly.
Okay. Never mind. I can.
Like there would be some aspects of like one side that would be outside that area.
Okay.
Just because there's so many of you.
Yeah. Yeah, I figured.
Big group. We have an army. We have a Hulk. We have scuds.
Because I am able to ward an area from.
You have corruption. We have a Scuzz, and a Carolina, and an Ithram, and a Gent, and a Titan. Just look, keep going.
Can ward it?
Yes. Hide most of the caravan, and also prevent any magical entry or divination.
That's awesome.
Which, if I can cover most of the area, just not most of the caravan, and it lasts for 24 hours.
Is it something that you can put like in a specific area? Zane asks.
Yes,
Only
I
sort
could
of-
put it over perhaps the center of the caravan so that the outside watches.
That'd be good if you could mark it off for us.
Yeah, and from that point on, before bed, so long as he has spell slots, he will cast Mordenkainen's Private Sanctum over the caravan. And so that...
What does your private sanctum look like?
No, so it's just a warded area. So it makes
It's
the
not like
outside...
castle.
Yeah, no, not yet. The outside of it, it just looks like a foggy area.
Yeah, so like the exterior just sort of has like there's like a ring of fog around that area.
Yeah, so the way that I envision it though is that it just kind of like looks like it's the things behind the fog kind of disappear. So as soon as you cross that barrier, you can see everything. But after that, it just kind of looks like a foggy landscape or a foggy patch of ground.
Yeah, because it definitely has some sort of visual appearance because
Yeah.
sound can't pass through it and you can't see anything in it. Like,
Yeah.
Do you do the sound barrier or no?
Yeah, I do all of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
do the whole damn thing.
so it's just like this dome of fog, basically.
Yeah.
Welcome to
And then
the
it's-
Fog Dome.
As soon as you walk into the
The
dome, it just clears
lesser-known
out
dome.
immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
basically.
As soon as you walk
Yeah.
in, it's like, oh,
You've
nothing.
created a Dark Souls fog gate, and
Yep.
it's just surrounding the camp.
You enter the Dark Souls fog gate. Oh crap, it's one of those bosses that's a whole bunch of enemies.
You've entered the phalanx battle.
Oh no, a normal sized fight. Let's see.
So we're on first watch then? According to Prince Zane?
We can take first.
We have
yeah.
first watch.
All he did was separate out the watches. He didn't order them.
We can let him know.
True.
But he
we'll
said
take first.
us first, so.
He did
Yeah.
say the steel
We'll
hearts
take
first.
Which
first.
means we're the best, which means we should definitely do our first watch.
Yes.
It means he was talking to us when he was making that order.
Right, yeah. And usually you name what's in front of you
I will
first.
go confer with the other groups and check which watches each of us are.
Yeah.
Jerry,
Check in order.
the Wild Pride would prefer the watch that's in the middle of the night, which would be second watch. The kneecappers have a argument amongst themselves before eventually, after about 10 minutes, determining that they'll take the morning watch, even though not all of them are morning people. The Royal Guard will go wherever they're needed. So, you guys can either
First
take
watch
the
is
first
us.
or the third.
So we'll take first watch then.
I mean, we could take second.
I mean,
If we really just want to be dicks to the Wild Pride, sure.
I'm just saying it's not off the table.
you could take
We
mor-
will take. we
you
will
could
take
take
first
morning
watch.
and let the
In the
kneecappers be the
spirit of
evening watch.
collaboration, we can take first.
Yeah, first watch
Yep.
is fine.
Right, so we'll have first watch gatekeepers, the first watch the steel hearts.
Ugh. That's our Negaverse parallels.
Yes, the Negaverse Steel Hearts are the gatekeepers.
Oh, you're a griffin? So how long you been a griffin? Do you know all the other griffins? Because I do.
I was gonna say the
Name the
the
top
Herald is
5 griffins.
just the Ready Player One cover.
Right, right, yes.
Jesus
Name the top 5 griffins in Turam.
Y'all don't want to meet
In the order with which they were founded.
them.
Oh.
What is Gitlinard's inseam?
Oh, you don't know every single school of magic off by heart? Come on, that's so basic.
And the ones only released in the DLC that was released in Christmas episode of 2007. God.
When the person next to goes, "What's DLC?"
It's a manga. Jesus.
What's a manga? No. Anyways,
The DLC is obviously the Divine Local chapter.
Right. Yes. Okay.
they take donations. They take donations of $39.99.
Right, exactly.
Wait,
39
sub's
gold,
not
39
done.
silver. Okay.
So we're on watch, right?
Yeah.
You're all on watch. First watch.
Friends, just a quick question. How much silver do each of you have?
As
Like-
in silver coin.
Excuse me.
And just holds up 4 fingers.
All right.
I have 1.
I have 8.
Holy shit.
I've got about 25 pieces of silver.
I have
I am-
53 silver.
I am
I have more
super,
Valdeth than you can buy yourself a demigod.
I'm super excited to say this. I have 30.
Yes.
Pieces of silver.
Nice.
Do you have a
Congrats.
What do
Uh,
you need silver for?
Do you know any Pharisees?
I have recently learned a new spell that requires a length of silver that will let us store our weapons and what have you in a extra dimensional space to be recalled whenever we need them.
That's
That would be
awesome.
convenient. Carolina says now carrying around like 3
You-
different weapons.
You actually have enough silver to perhaps do this. It requires about 50, let me see, where is it? 50 silver pieces worth.
Well, 50 gold worth of one.
Oh,
It's one silver line that's worth 50 gold.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Never mind then. I thought it was
Wow.
50 silver.
It's the
I misread it.
it's the
have
worked
no gold.
silver. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
could essentially go around like we need to park in old style parking and get the quarters from everyone else
Yes.
around.
We got gold
So-
pieces. Can we just get like a bunch of your silver?
You could convert gold into it if you needed.
Yeah,
to,
would I be able to transmute it?
Yeah.
Like during the process because
Yeah, yeah.
it takes an hour.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I
I
miss.
prefer my weapons right on my hips and on my back, but thank you.
I've got these
There.
now. He's gonna says he flings out daggers from his bracers.
Oh goodness.
And
Yeah,
then
I have
immediately
50
come
gold.
back.
I don't know if that. Yeah. So if you're willing to cast that, that would be convenient.
Yes. Yes. No worries. It costs me nothing.
I'm
Anybody?
amazing.
Does any? No, it's a ritual. So, does it?
I like the idea that Scuzz is just doing this all in the background as this conversation is going on. And at one point, it's and he goes, oh, and it shifts over to like Ariel, like it's just like sticking in the. She's just and he gets back, all while keeping Ithram and Carolina's conversation in main focus.
The dagger just disappears.
Yeah, dagger disappears.
Yes. It will take about an hour, but anybody that wants to, I can do up to 8 people at one time.
That sounds useful, honestly.
If you have 50 gold to spare, I can transmute it during the process.
Yeah. I'll give you 50 of mine.
Just hold it in your palm as I cast.
Cool.
Is it 50 gold per person or is it 50 gold total?
Per person,
Okay.
per target.
Unfortunately, I don't have.
The
enough.
extra dimensional space is unlimited, though. You can store literally as many weapons as you want in it.
Only weapons.
Weapons and shields if you're proficient with shields.
Because it's like, who wants? I have gold pieces. Because Skuz has not spent money. He still has 600 gold pieces.
Oh,
Wow.
holy shit.
Yeah.
I'm
mean-
good.
And
thanks.
Carolina and Scuzz are in the we didn't spend our paycheck yet club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
725.
96.
You can join the we didn't spend our paycheck club.
So
Silver, 10,000.
Ariel's like, y'all are Bush League.
Right?
the way
I
that,
mean-
so the way the spell works, understanding that Ariel probably still won't want it. You apply the spell, and over the course of a short or long rest, you can basically take any amount of weapons that you have and store them in hammer space effectively. And then as an action, you can pull up to 2 of them out at any point in time, and you could send them back as a bonus action.
So all of our weapons get soul bonded, kind of similarly.
They're
Actually.
Kind of.
Awesome.
Kind of. Except you
You
can't
can't-
summon to them if they're on the ground over there. Like you can't summon them to
No,
you if they're
yeah.
in physical space, but you can put them away whenever and then bring them back out whenever.
Oh, excuse me. So like Ithram still has to open the space so we can take the weapons
No.
out. It's not just like
No.
put the
No,
weapon in.
you would do it.
So you would go on your turn. You would go. I want a sword. Action. Draw a sword out of nowhere.
Okay, yeah. No.
If
that's
you've got
fucking
one stored
great.
already. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the ultimate concealed carry, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, Ithram begins his ritual. In the process, he basically uses his focus and taps the gold and spins out a silver thread from the gold that you have, which he then wraps around your forearms, whatever your dominant arm is, which over the course of the spell melts into your skin, providing a small silver band of tattoo around your wrist.
I wanted to make it something else.
Oh, go ahead.
This is still the same silver. How many moons does Gran Terra have?
2.
Just 1 or 2? Okay. So yeah. The silver band, where there would normally be a silver band, it's actually just the 2 just a depiction of the 2 moons going through their phases and
Yeah, that works.
In sequence.
and rotating around each other. So just like moving positions and then in different phases all the way across.
As Ithram casts Alunai's Infinite Armory.
Yep.
Yeah.
Targeting...
How many people is Scuzz willing to spot with gold?
I mean, I could, if I can, I'll spot everybody except me. I'm good, but I can spot everybody.
Valdez does not have any gold.
Just slide a big old pile of gold on the snow.
So, who all wants to cast on them?
Nero.
I can pay for myself.
So,
So
Valdez,
can
Carolina,
Gent.
Gent. Ithram,
I'm
I'm
good.
assuming you're casting it on yourself.
Yeah.
Scuzz, yes, no?
Scuzz. Scuzz will. No, he's got the braces of flying daggers.
Yeah, but you can put your crossbow and short bow and anything else in the space too.
It's true.
There's no limit to the weapons you can put into it.
You make a good point, Dungeon Master. Yeah. So Scuzz will pay for both himself and Ithram.
Okay, so
Oh, Ithram paid for himself.
Valdez,
Yeah.
Gent, Scuzz, Carolina,
Valdez.
Ithram.
Excuse me, Valdez.
Oh,
I
okay.
was gonna say Val. Sorry.
Ariel, no. Titania, no. All right. All right. So yeah, the the 5 of you. Yes, the 5 of you have these little moon markings on your wrist now.
Another tattoo. Awesome.
Yes.
And over the course of your next short or long rest, you can bond any number of your weapons to this extra-dimensional space, and deposit and withdraw as needed.
Daggers, short bow, crossbow, long sword. No, it's a short sword, I think. Short sword.
Good, because I have like 6 different weapons depending on the situation.
All my javelins, the
I'm,
halberd.
I'm a very barbarian.
Ariel
So,
has
question.
like 10 weapons, but they're all in one.
Do you have to be holding the weapon to store it?
It summons to your hand and
No, to store it, to put it away.
So it's in chat right now. So,
like, if it's over there, can I snap and make it disappear and then pull it back out?
Yes.
Okay.
You don't have to be touching it to store it. No.
So my sword's been disarmed. Now it's gone. Now it's back.
Yeah, you summon it to your hands from the extra dimensional space, but you don't have to. You don't have to be touching it to send it back.
I just made
No, it would take a bonus. It would still take
javelins. That's great.
Yeah, it would take a bonus action and an action to.
Yeah, it takes your
store
entire
it
turn to
and
store
then
it
pull
and pull
it
it
back,
back.
right.
But you can theoretically never be completely disarmed.
Yeah.
You're all minor Eldritch Knights.
This may be a ruling thing that you want to figure out eventually. One of my rage abilities lets me essentially have a better version of this. When that rage ability is active, does that supplant this?
The rage ability can you can have this effect on. This effect will stack with other effects similar to it.
Okay.
Like an Eldritch Knight could still have their weapon bound to them and also have Alanai's infinite armor to cast on them.
That's fair. Okay. So that would probably apply to.
Yes. It would still work. The only difference is like the Eldritch Knight's ability to summon it to their hands wouldn't work if it was in the extra dimensional space because it's not in their dimension.
In your dimension. Yep.
Yep.
Can't do it across dimensional boundaries.
Correct. All right. So, on your first watch, everyone give me perception checks.
19.
14.
Or I am a little preoccupied.
24.
Nice.
15. I'm not gonna lie, Cody. When I heard you say I'm a little, my brain automatically auto-corrected to little teapot, and I just heard in Ithram's voice say, "I'm a little teapot."
I'm a little
And-
teapot.
Short and
Killed Nikki.
stout.
He's gone.
he's doing this ritual casting. I'm a little teapot. And
It helps you remember the spell, the order.
That's the cadence that he casts.
Right.
The ritual.
It's a mnemonic device. Yeah, right.
Yep.
Mhm.
Oh my God.
It's not the words, but the cadence.
If Galadir had designed this only to be used by other people and never himself, he is the asshole that would have made that the somatic component or the verbal component.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, you have to sing "I'm a little teapot" to cast this spell.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. Need that.
But he didn't. So, perception check. So yeah, Ithram, you're busy with the ritual spell that you're casting.
Yes.
Valdeth, Ariel, and Gent, and Skuz. So everyone except for Carolina, Titania, and Ithram. Titania having just missed the cutoff. Because it was a 15 that I was looking for. Unless you want to spend an inspiration to reroll.
No, I've got one left. I'm saving that.
Okay, cool. So yeah, Gent, Valdeth, Skuz, and Ariel. On your watch. Over the course of your watch, that dragon storm that you had seen in the distance is completely devoured by the frontier, and you sort of watch this thing slowly dwindle down into nothingness. After it's gone, you see a flash of light emanating from much, much, much further south and east from your position and even from where it was at. Out in the middle of the frontier, beyond where you could reasonably see any detail, there's just this psh of light.
Is it really like a camera flash, sort of like just
kind of like a
instant
camera
bright
flash.
light?
Yeah, like
Okay.
it's not that quick, but it's just like this shining beacon appears and then goes away.
Oh my.
Twinkle in the distance.
Someone took a picture.
Wait, what?
The fuck is a picture? No, sorry.
Yeah. You...
Pictures
The
exist.
fuck is a picture?
the fuck is a picture?
Misheard you for a second there.
No, you're fine.
Ariel,
The fuck is a picture? That
saw
thing
that,
you do
yes?
to click.
Yes.
how
Yeah.
distant do you think that was, and therefore how bright would that have to have been?
Can I take an estimate of how far away
Yeah.
that was?
Give me a nature check.
Nature.
Now you don't ask me
Really?
for investigation.
You're not
Nature?
investigating anything. You're trying to gauge distances from a mountaintop.
Yeah, investigation is described as like putting things together and like connecting dots.
Might I offer survival?
Survival might survival would also be would be an option. yeah.
Survival is
I will go with
slightly
survival's way better for
better.
me.
It's the same
Nah.
for me. I just love you guys. 4.
I can
Uh.
investigate a room and find something very small. I could not eyeball a distance from a mountaintop. That's a different skill set in my mind from an investigate.
You're not necessarily wrong.
Where'd it come from? I didn't see it.
None of
Gent
us
will
can tell.
point out into the distance. Gent got a
Oh.
20 on his nature check.
Would any of you like to use an inspiration?
I would love to. I would have to have one.
Ah, well. With the
I'm glad Ithram and Scuzz don't have any active conditions.
with the 20,
We slept.
you slept.
Yes.
With the 20, again, you estimate that's probably 3 days walk from the foothills of the mountain.
On a 3-day hike, yeah, that would have to be an extremely bright light for us to be able to pick it up from this distance. Then, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, Gent just gets this very sort of disconcerted look on his face.
That good, huh?
Well, something's out there.
Where roughly
Hey.
was that flash?
Are you certain, darling? Are you certain there's something out there?
Something not insignificant, let's say, which I know we already knew, but
Was that roughly where the storm was entering?
The storm was entering like over here.
Okay.
yeah, because that was on the boundary.
Yeah.
This is well within the bounds.
Yeah, if you think back to the map you were shown, Ghent, figuring the path that you figure it's slightly north of their estimated destination.
Right.
If
North of where I think we're headed, but for something to produce something of that level of brilliance at that distance, that's some intense power.
if I were to use a couple of context clues, I would probably wager, with no real arcane education to back it up, mind you, that something just ate all of the ether from that dragon storm.
Definitely a viable hypothesis.
If it
Does
dies
that sound
down, that
reasonable
will
to me?
Possibly. I
storm.
mean, the ether of the dragon storm was definitely consolidated as it entered the area. If something like a flash of light visible 3 days away from where it's at would certainly be one potential like side effect of consuming that much ether.